17 amazing glass artists. Before we get started, let's take a quick look at one of our viewers' comments. Snow Angel Death had this to say: "I'm proud of you, narrator. I hope I get a shout out. I really wish I had more to say. I love your voice. It sounds very soothing on a day when I get mad." Aw, thank you so much for commenting, Snow Angel Death. And don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to our video. Number 17, Jean-Pierre Canlis. Canlis first made his way into the glass art world back in 1991, and later went on to train at the Pilchuck Glass School. He would go on to work for glass artist Dale Chihuly for a period of 4 years. After that, he would go on to establish his own studio in Seattle, and has had his art featured in many places, from restaurants to corporations as far as Dubai. Number 16, Tom Fruin. Tom Fruin was born in Los Angeles back in 1974, but these days he spends his time in his studio located in Brooklyn, New York. Fruin is best known for working with steel, scrap metal, and especially plexiglass, as it's basically his signature style. Two of his most notable works of art can be found in New York, and those happen to be the Water Tower and his plexiglass house. Number 15, Steve Tobin. Tobin is well known for his water glass series that look like waterfalls at the Retretti Museum in Finland. He said he could never outdo that series, and so he officially retired. Before then, he created the sculpture in the following image known as the Trinity Tree, a memorial to commemorate the 9/11 attack on the Twin Towers. The sculpture, that originally stood outside St. Paul's Chapel in Lower Manhattan, was later moved to Connecticut. Tobin had to take out a home equity loan of $330,000 to pay for the costs of the year-long process. Number 14, Jonathan Davis. Jonathan Davis is a glass artist that is based in Chatham County, North Carolina, and has been going at his craft for several years. On top of teaching for what is now his 15th year, he was fortunate enough to study under master glassblower Emilio Santini, and has even worked with the Cirque du Soleil troupe. Number 13, Carol Milne. Carol Milne's work is able to be recognized all throughout the world because of its distinct appearance. She is known for creating glass pieces that look like they've been knitted. The surreal sculptures use a combination of techniques that range from lost wax casting to mold making. It had only been 4 years since she started, but in 2010, she won the Silver Award for her work. Number 12, Karen Lamont. Karen Lamont went to study at a glass casting studio in Eastern Bohemia on a Fulbright scholarship after she graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design. During her studies, she went on to create her most famous work of art titled Vestige, a glass dress. It took a year to complete, and since then, she's made other glass dresses, such as the one before you. Number 11, Kate Rhodes. Kate Rhodes' work is heavily influenced by the sea, which is to be expected as she grew up on a boat in the Virgin Islands and the Bahamas. These aquatic works of art are what she is known for. Most famously so is her series titled Soft Sculptures. They're created by linking hollow-blown glass hexagonal tubing with copper wire. Number 10, Martin Blank. Martin Blank attended the Rhode Island School of Design, and shortly thereafter, he was able to study under one of the most famous figures in the field of glass art. One of Blank's most intricate installations is a piece titled Fluent Steps that needed more than 40 engineers, artists, and architects in order to assemble it, because it consisted of 754 individual pieces, all sculpted by hand. Number 9, Sonia Blomdahl. Sonia Blomdahl was actually taking a drawing class in college when the laughter she heard coming from a glass-blowing class caught her attention. She would go on to be a student at the prominent Orrefors Glass School in Sweden. Her glass jars are prime examples of just how talented she is at her craft, and are found in several different museums. Number 8, Dan Dailey. With a career that encompasses more than 40 years, Dan Dailey has accumulated numerous awards and has his works featured in museums all over the world, from Australia to France. His glass works of art are known for including an element of metal to them. Dailey is married to his wife Linda Macneil, who is also a glass and metal artist. Number 7, Ginny Ruffner. Ruffner is based out of Seattle, Washington, where she creates magnificent works of torchworked glass. Despite being in a terrible car crash that her doctors feared she might never walk or speak again. Though she suffers from some speech and walking issues, Ginny Ruffner has gone on to have her work permanently installed in 42 museums around the world. Number 6, Howard Ben Trey. Trey has been dubbed as a pioneer in the field of glass art by Glass magazine, thanks to his unique technique that he has created for casting hot glass. The process requires several months, as that's how long it takes to cool the molten glass once it's been placed into a sand mold. Some of his work can be seen at the Corning Museum of Glass and the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Number 5. William Morris. Sometimes life has a funny way of leading you down the right path, even if it's not the one you expected. Morris wasn't always a master glass artist. Instead, he was a truck driver for the Pilchuck Glass School, who would go on to become a student and later an instructor there. He's able to remarkably transform glass to mimic the appearance of bone, wood, fiber, and other materials. Number 4. Lino Tagliapietra. Tagliapietra is revered by his peers and students as he is responsible for creating several methods and procedures that are now commonly used in the production of glass art. He began studying as an apprentice at the age of 12 and became a master at his craft when he was just 25 years old. His work can be viewed all over the world. Number 3. Luc Duram. Though he suffers from being colorblind, Luc Duram doesn't let that stop him from creating marvelous pieces of glass art. During the course of his still continuous 20-year career, Duram has acquired numerous amounts of accolades under his belt. What you see in the following image is a glass sculpture of the swine flu virus from his collection titled Glass Microbiology. Number 2. Jack Storms. Storms is incredibly well known for the method he has developed in the process of creating his unique and signature works of art. It's described as being a cold glass process that requires a heavy amount of time to complete, 24 hours to be exact. While owning his own studio, Storms has impressively had his work featured in the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. Before we reveal number 1, let us know in the comments below which one of these glass artists you thought was the most impressive, and don't forget to subscribe. And now, number 1, Dale Chihuly. This is perhaps, if not the most famous glass artist that is currently alive. Chihuly has managed to create wondrous works of art by melting and fusing glass, even after several accidents left him blind in his left eye. These days, he's more of a creative director for his team, but his work has been featured in several places all over, such as Las Vegas and New York City.